Jim Romer, Dr. Weather. Welcome. Have a happy July 4th. We really need it the way the world's been going lately, for sure. We're going to be talking today about how I call the recent bear market in corn and not all this dome drought talk everybody was talking about a few weeks ago. How I second guess models. We're also going to talk about the collapse in natural gas, which I predicted with cooler weather about 7 to 10 days ago. Big 10 to 15% break in less than 4 trading sessions. And let's talk about the 1993 flood when I lived in Des Moines, Iowa back then. What a disaster, and how that kind of compares to the Northwest grain belt currently. Poor demand, stronger dollar, cooler weather has been bearish the grain market, particularly corn. And as we get into late July and August, unless we have further weather problems from droughts or flooding, soybeans will probably follow suit eventually as well. Make sure you get a free report. This was written about a month ago, 3 weeks ago actually, which talked about the collapse in cocoa price I predicted. Also why I was bearish corn and beans really for the last year, but particularly here over the last few weeks or so. And also the USDA report, what I talked about prior to the report about a couple of weeks ago here. So you can also get a 2-week free trial period. Next issue, this issue here this last Thursday and Friday, talking about the hurricane, the earliest, strongest 5 category on record in June, and how that affected orange juice prices as well as crude oil, which is more psychology than anything else. My comments 2 weeks ago about all these models going for hot, dry weather, I said it's hogwash. I've been doing this for 35 to 40 years, folks. I know how to second guess models. Now, there's a big short position there on the left, about 70 to 75% short corn and beans. Otherwise, I like looking at markets when everyone is running in the wrong direction and the fundamentals change. For example, during a drought last July in 2023, everybody was long up to their yin-yang and saying there's going to be some rain, not a disaster, a long-term bear market with El Nino last year. And as a result, everybody ran for the hills. Back then, we had a heavy long position last summer. So here is my spider that's in my Weather Wealth newsletter, only slightly bearish because of the big short position and also flooding in the Northwest belt. Nevertheless, that means advising farmers a few weeks ago 10% higher than here to buy puts, to sell calls, to forward contract some of your 2024 production. But if La Nina forms, we could have a bull market this winter, the South American summer. Stay tuned, but right now I don't see La Nina forming until sometime this fall, not during the summer like other people erroneously predicted here over the last few months. I look at teleconnections. You get Climate Predict Pro, looking at sea ice, La Nina, El Nino, ocean temperatures thousands of miles away. In this case, I use all these, predict the Corn Belt dryness and heat to ease. A week or two ago, I mentioned this, indeed. Second guessing models, we have a negative AO index. We also have something called a negative WPO index. And that negative WPO is a ridge over to the northwest of Alaska. Notice there to the right, the index below that horizontal line was predicted by models 2 weeks ago to go negative into early to mid-July. As a result, that ridge everybody was talking about was squashed. Models did not show that. I second-guessed those models a week or two to go. Again, negative WPO and also not La Nina yet suggests generally decent weather for Midwest grains. And as you can see, this is why I predicted a couple weeks ago, a negative WPO has on the right there cooler temperatures, which also broke the natural gas market. Look at this, folks. Too many people believe models. This was a week and a half to 2 weeks ago for July 10th, the forecast on the left. The big dome. Oh my God, the world's coming to an end. No, look at the reality to the right. The dome about 500 to 1,000 miles further west, a northwest flow, cooler weather and rains. The eastern Corn Belt needs some rains. We'll get it. The northwest Corn Belt needs to dry out. We'll talk about that here in a second. But notice the difference in the reality on the right here for the next 5 to 7 days versus the erroneous forecast by models and how I second guess the models. So Natural gas may be oversold right now, but notice when my spider became neutral from bullish on June 23rd, I look at the global crop score, temperature indices, the anti-herd mentality, who's long and who's short the market, specs or not, the economic score, the value of the dollar, the seasonality, the pattern recognition. I became more neutral from bullish. That means clients should have gotten out of long positions before the collapse, and even last week it became a slightly bearish -2, and we had an 8 to 12% break in natural gas in the last 4 days, and 20% since my spider went neutral, which meant less bullish, about 2 weeks ago. There's the cooler weather, good for corn pollination, much different than model suggested 2 weeks ago. Now, my one concern, of course, is flooding. There's a few more inches of rain that are going to fall in Iowa, Minnesota, South Dakota, here in Wisconsin over the next 5 to 6 days, and that is causing some concern in the marketplace. Still, as you see there on the right, some flood risk in parts of the northwest 20-25% of the Corn Belt. If it wasn't for that, we'd see corn well below $4, maybe $3.90, and beans probably to $9.50 to $10. Could that still happen with a stronger dollar and improved weather later? It's possible. The great 1993 flood I was living in Iowa was much more widespread. I think about 50 million acres were damaged from Illinois along the Mississippi River to Missouri, Iowa, all of Minnesota, Wisconsin. This year there's about, 3 to 4 or 5 million acres hurt. So the situation back in 93 was much worse. Certainly, farmers in the Northwest Corn Belt and South Dakota, Northern Iowa, Minnesota are not saying that. Their crops are affected right now, but things still can recover somewhat if it dries out in the next few weeks. Right now, I do expect that situation to improve a little bit as we go on into the middle latter part of July. This was the flooding in 1993 to the left. Look at the rivers expanding, the Missouri and Mississippi River that flooded millions of acres across the western and central Corn Belt. Normally, that's the way the rivers should be looking there to the right. So, will it dry out? In 1993, we had a kind of a southwest flow aloft in that convergence area with warm tropical Gulf moisture. Heavy rains and flooding continued into mid-July. In about 8 to 10 days, notice the difference. That black arrow there to the right, the dome at the H dome, the heat is suppressed to the southwest in mid to late July. A northwest flow should dry things out for the northern and western Corn Belt, but not a concern about any dryness right now as far as heat. Look at the northwest flow to the right coming up in about 8 to 10 days after heavy rains the next few, compared to the left in 1993, a southwest flow aloft. So corn prices spiked in June and July of 1993, then went lower when it dried out. So that same situation could happen here for soybeans. With drier weather after rains the next 4 or 5 days, we could see a bear market this summer. Download a free issue of my newsletter, this one written a few weeks ago before the collapse in corn, and also discussing the cocoa and soft commodity markets as well. Enjoy. Have a very safe July 4th.